Danielle.
Look at the shock on the face. Amazing. Hey everybody, welcome to the new season series. I can't believe there's a series 2, but we had to start off with these guys. I'm going to introduce you to 2 people who have supported Blue Nation right from the start, to be fair, and are really cool people, but we're going to focus on them. So I am going to bring them in right now. I've got a lot of buttons to click here. So we've got Mark and Danielle from RawSound TV. Here they are, yeah, they're on screen. I'm just putting all the covers on so they can see your names and stuff, guys, like that. How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yes, good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
I see, Mark.
Yeah.
You're in a villa top, mate.
Yes. Well, yes, I thought Luke might be joining us today, so I thought I might tease him a bit, but
mate,
yeah,
I know he is raging. We were talking about Lee Bowyer and all that, and he's again gone back into the whole we're going to get promoted next season as Blues. I'm like, mate, you're just not Premier League, are you? And he was raging a bit, but don't worry, mate, I'm going to send him some screenshots of this and expect some messages from him, definitely. So yeah,
in the Premier League the following season then.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be, are they? I mean, that's just a tin pot club, aren't they? Sorry, Danielle, who do you support? Do you watch football at all, or are you just like, oh guys, shut up?
Completely goes over my head, to be honest. I mean,
The best way to be.
Look, Mark, I wouldn't have even noticed that was a football shirt. I mean, I'm in the Hunter and Nelson, Nicole Brown.
Oh,
gear.
nice. No, that's.
More,
I'll give you that. That's class. I'm digging that. No, that's cool.
yeah.
Cool. So, guys, moving the spotlight onto you guys. Tell us what RawSound TV is. Give us a little flavour of it, and tell us. They've got all the links on the page there. So, tell us a little bit about it.
I'll let you do that, Mark. You're the boss.
I'll start. You can join in, Danielle. But no, basically, Neil, as you know, we're a live music TV show, predominantly aimed at unsigned bands, bands doing their own thing. We have had and do have signed bands on, but it's basically giving a platform for bands that wouldn't necessarily find that kind of platform and it be accessible to them. It's a free platform. The bands don't pay for it, so they come to the studio, they film a 3-song set for us, have a little interview. That all gets edited down into a half-an-hour TV show, and it goes out on our YouTube channel. And so it's basically offering the opportunity to young bands. Like I say, that was the idea of setting it up, and we're 3-4 years down the line now. What, Danielle? 4 years, I think.
No way. Really?
I think we're coming into the 4th year now, because I joined. You'd already been going, I think, a year or 2 by the time I had actually joined. I know the same for Jack, and maybe Lee came in about halfway as well.
Do you know what? And speak, because obviously the lads and I have been on the show. It's so professionally run. You look after us massively. I remember the first time we came on, you gave us a rider, you gave us food and stuff, and I was so amazed. I was like, we've come from Birmingham, and you guys were obviously in Birmingham as well. But you fed us and all that stuff, and the camera stuff and all that. I remember being quite nervous because you're all like chatting and stuff. Like, right, we're gonna go for a take, and there was like 3 cameras, and like you were there, and you were like, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I can't swear, I can't do it. I was like, I've actually got to be quite decent here now. But no, it was really good, and I tell you what, it was one of the first times that I've had the experience of like being in front of camera and interviewed, and knowing that the camera's moving around you and ignoring stuff. So when you have bands come on, do you have to explain to them that, look, just play, just ignore us, or do some freeze up a bit, or?
I think, like you said, a lot of the bands come and it's their first time being on camera, really. I think especially because most of the bands that we have on are quite young, unsigned, that kind of
thanks.
thing.
You called us young, Danielle. Thanks. That's all. Interview done. You've called us young.
You were when you first time.
No, I don't know.
So yeah, they're not used to kind of being on camera, being interviewed is one. They're not used to being interviewed, so sometimes that can be a new experience for them. So we normally have to run through things first. Yeah. Well, I say he normally does most of the talking with the bands. He's really good at it. I don't think I'd explain it quite as well.
No, dude, you were great. When we came in, when Mimi and I came after Christmas one, it was great. I tell you what, it is really good, and what you guys do brilliantly. You just make everyone feel so relaxed. Like, because I've been playing in bands for years and stuff, but I was a little bit, these cameras are on tripods. One of them can move on a little slidey thing, right? There's a dude in a corner behind a screen with a load of buttons, right? And it is a bit daunting, let alone getting those amps up that staircase. I mean, that's the one that nearly killed me. I was like, oh my God.
Don't talk about.
Yeah, I was like, but it's really good in the platform you're doing. So where did the idea come from for RawSound? Was it literally over a pint? Were you thinking, look, we need to give a platform to bands and stuff? Where did it kind of spring up from?
It was literally just a seed, Neil, that was in my head. I've always loved music video.
Yeah.
Just seeing a band as well as hearing a band, especially playing live, not kind of acted videos, but stage performances and festival performances or whatever. So I was always into that. And I had a few experiences myself. One particularly where we were doing a gig in London, and some guy just was wandering around the stage, attaching a load of these little cameras around, and I'm thinking, oh, what the hell's he doing? What are these? And they were kind of before I really knew what they were.
Yeah.
And produced something very similar to what we do, albeit without the professional kind of zoom cameras and whatever. So coupled with that, like I say, the idea just sprung one day, and I thought, why not? And I spoke to a guy who I was working with at the time. I was doing a bit of care work, and he's into diving, and he had his own GoPro, and he did a bit of editing, and it was literally that got him in. And he was like, not particularly into music, but he was like, yeah, I see the idea, yeah, I'm up for it. And he'd come down the studio, and we set up, and it kind of just snowballed from there. So it was literally a kind of a why not?
Yeah.
I had the studio, because I run a studio anyway, which is your Glass Onion recording studio.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think if I didn't have the studio, it would have been difficult. We wouldn't have had a place to film it and all that. But, yeah, so it was literally just a seed, and I got a few people involved, and it went from there.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the vibe and how people feel relaxed. It's something we've never really spoke about.
Oh, really? Oh, God. I would have thought you guys would have, like, really kind of fostered that. Oh, well, that's brilliant. So that's just because I walked in, I was like a bit, okay, and then you were like, hey, how you doing? And nice and chilled. And so I was like, it's like, you want to stick your gear in there? Do you need any help hand getting stuff? So that you totally get that. So if you did that completely naturally, even better, mate.
I can only give credit to the group because they all bring their own personalities into it, and they all chat to you as themselves, rather than representatives of RawSound or whatever. And so. Yeah, I mean, there's so much that credit that I can give to the group who bring that kind of vibe and make people feel relaxed. But yeah, it's something we've never spoken about, funny enough, but it comes across and it works. So.
Oh, well, you're nailing it. Don't change anything. Don't talk about it. I don't want this brought up at the next RawSound TV meeting because you're nailing it, right? Just carry on doing what you're doing, right? I don't want to get there next time. We're like, oh, guys, what you done? You've ruined. No, you won't ruin the mojo. It's fine. So who's in? Because it's a 2 cameramen, 3 cameramen. How many people we've got? Because last time there was 2. There was 2, I think, last time for me. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, we're moving on as we go. So when you first come on the show, which was the first series.
Yeah.
I mean, credit to you guys for coming on because we weren't nothing. You who knows who these people are that are going to film you and record you. It's that. Credit to you for coming and going along with it. You did, and at that point we had one main camera, one professional Sony camera.
Yeah.
And the GoPro. 2 GoPros. I think if you remember, we strapped one to Luke's bass.
We did, didn't we? Because that was the main thing that took the longest, didn't it? Because it was like, I had like a little, I've got one. And did we gaffer tape it to the end of his bass? I can't remember. What did we do?
DIY TV.
Did we have it on a capo, didn't we?
It was on a capo. It was gaffer tape to a capo. That was it, yeah. So, but yeah, it worked though, didn't it? It looked good.
It really did. And that was the sort of thing that we wanted to do, or I wanted to do when I started. It was that kind of stuff I've seen before, like it's the classic Who camera position. Yeah. But over the years, then we managed to get a bit of money together to buy a second camera, Now I'm talking, they're digital cameras,
Yeah.
but they're old cameras. So it's not like we're going out spending thousands because we just haven't got that money. These are literally a couple of £100.
Really? Mate, they
HD,
look good. They look good.
10 HD cameras, and they do the job.
Yeah.
You know how technology moves on.
Yeah.
So you can still pick things up second hand. Yeah. And now we're at the point where we've got 3 of those. So,
mate.
Yeah, we managed now to get 3 professional zoom cameras, one which is on a tripod, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And now with 2 guys that move around the room. So
yeah.
it's getting better as we go, you know.
Mate, that's amazing. So you mentioned something there which I want to pick up on, which is you guys don't charge the bands and stuff. You don't, you could, right? You definitely could for stuff, but I know that's kind of your core. If you're like, we don't want to charge for this, we want to get that music out there. So how do people support you? And because I know you've got your own merch and stuff. Have you got your own site where you can donate as well and look for donations? Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
Kind of. We when a band comes on, we kind of say, if you want to make a donation, it's not by any means like you have to make a donation. Yeah. If bands want to, if they feel they want to, and in return we give them photos that I've taken without the watermarks.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so we kind of try and give a bit back in return for the donations, but we're very lucky. A lot of bands have been so kind to give us donations after coming on the show, which we're incredibly grateful for.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure we do. I'll speak to the old man and get that transferred because I don't think we've done it in the past. So I will do that, and I'll post up the proof on the clip as well because the Blue Nation fans will hold me accountable for it because they always do. And I definitely want a RawSound. You got t-shirts, haven't you? I want a RawSound TV t-shirt, which obviously I want to pay for. Are they 20 quid? Have I made that up?
Well, we did start to sell them when we did the HMV thing, and we've not really set up anywhere where you can buy them online, but we can and we will. Mate, we'll send you one.
Oh, mate, I'm paying. No, I'm paying. Even if I have to post you 20 quid by carrier pigeon, mate, I'm sending it you. Don't you worry. It's getting there.
We'll get one sorted then.
Yeah.
Sorted. Yeah, as far as then outside of the bands that come on, if people want to donate to the show because they like it and watch it, we do have a PayPal and we do have a Patreon. So there's 2 ways people can either send us a drink or
brilliant.
Patreon can set up a monthly donation. And we do have, I think we've got 5 patrons at the moment, which is just unbelievable for us that people like the show that much and want to help us carry on, especially through what we've just been through.
Yeah.
Not produce much.
Yeah.
So that's what we're so grateful for that.
No,
even when bands give, it's like Danielle said, we don't pressure, we don't hold it against anyone. But when they do, we're over the moon. As a group, we're just like, wow.
It's amazing. It's like, and honestly, if obviously, because we'll have people watching this and stuff. If you love finding new music, if you love finding new bands, if you love finding new sounds, if you're a Blue Nation fan, right? There's not just bands like Blue Nation. There's such a wide mix. I remember the first time we were on, Mark, there was us, there was a rapper. I want to say there was someone on spoken word. So there's so much diversity within the music taste that come on. That's what I love about the YouTube channel that you guys do, because it's not just all guitar bands. It's not all there's so much diversity from it. I remember being blown away by the rapper that was on with us the first time and stuff, and then checked out their music on Spotify, and that's what's really good. So how do you go about sourcing the artists? Do you have a waiting list? Do you have to kind of plan it in? How do you go about that, Danielle? What happens?
So we have quite a big waiting list at the moment because bands have served us through lockdown. We're quite lucky. Lee, who is our what do we call it? It's like A&R. I can't remember what it stands for.
Artist representation or artist repertoire, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
he's amazing at booking the bands in, because they apply through our website to come on the show, and that comes then into our emails into a waiting list.
Oh, nice.
It's for me to understand how exactly it works, but you apply through the RawSound TV website.
Oh, cool. Right, so if you're a band watching this and you want to apply and you want to get on the waiting list. It's well worth it because the guys are amazing and it's a great platform. Because you've got just over, I think it's 1,000 subscribers on YouTube as well. I was looking at as well, which is fantastic, way more than us. So get on it, subscribe, guys, as well, because it is an amazing kind of thing what they're doing here, and what you should get supporting them as well. So I'm afraid we're going to have to talk about it, the dreaded COVID, and what it's all happened. So what have you guys been doing? Because obviously you've not been able to be in the studio and do the filming. Have you literally just had to shut down, then reopen, then shut down? How's it gone?
Pretty much like that.
Pretty much that.
Yeah.
Shut down. The studio couldn't open, so personally, business-wise, I couldn't get in the studio to do anything, and therefore, obviously, the show couldn't go ahead. We managed to get back out August, was it, Danielle? When they eased them down first time round, and we'd fitted 4 shows in maybe. But yeah, other than that, and we've done nothing since the Christmas one. You were the last.
Were we the last ones? Oh my word! Oh god, mate. That was possibly the funniest thing I've ever done, because I just remember having in my back of my like peripheral vision was Santa dancing, and I was just like, don't laugh, Neil, just keep doing it. And obviously Mimi, like to my left, could see him more, and I was like, this is amazing. But it's that kind of stuff that I love about you guys as well, because you make it interesting to watch, and you really think about it. And I remember you asking me, like, because it was me and Mimi, like, what do you want to be called? What do you want to do? Because you were really thoughtful about the name you put on there as well. So every little detail's thought of, which as a band made me feel really great, mate, to be honest with you, because you were just so attentive to the details. You as well, Danielle, about your questions and talking and chilling. And when we were kind of interacting and stuff, it was just like, it was so nice to be in that environment. So are you guys going to open up soon, do you think? Is it June time or May time? Are you just looking at the news like us?
Hopefully as soon as possible. I mean, we had a team meeting, was it a week or two ago, Mark? I can't remember. Yeah. Not long ago, and we were all just so desperate to get back to it, and aching to be back in the studio together. I mean, the other kind of struggle with it is when we're actually in the studio. I mean, the studio is not tiny, but when you've got a crew of, I think there's 6 or 7 of us, when we're at full capacity, and then if you have a band of 4 or 5 people coming in, sometimes more, it can get quite tight in there, and that's when it can get a little awkward to move around each other and things like that.
Yeah, totally.
It thankfully worked quite well last time, so I don't think there'll be any problems going forward with us, being able to start up again. And hopefully, we've not got a set date yet, but we are looking. Watch this space.
Watch this space. Nice. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to ask some interviews, and just a pretense to this. You do not need to say Blue Nation, right? To any of these answers, I will not take offence. I will not. I'll probably never. I'll never speak to you again. But no, I'm joking. I'm joking. So I'll go. Right. So Danielle, who's been your favourite interview and why over the series and what you've done?
I think for me.
Just remember, you don't need to say Blue Nation or me. That's fine, right?
I actually interviewed you,
No, no. I'm joking.
It was on the sofa with a mug at that point, wasn't it? The RawSound mug. Yeah, I think the ones I've actually done the interview, I really enjoyed interviewing Carcosa.
Yes.
Because there was so many of them, and within their band, there's so many different kind of personalities. I think the interview just kind of felt like so natural. Just, it's like this, just like a chat rather than sometimes it can feel a bit like, oh, I ask a question, you talk, and it's a bit, but it kind of flowed naturally. And I think I was still quite new to presenting then, so it just felt quite,
Oh, cool. So that was like a defining moment for you, for like, oh, okay, some bands can talk, and some bands do say more than just yes when they're interviewed. Is that the worst thing you find when you interview like bands or artists, like when they don't like converse back?
I think the worst thing for me personally, and I'm sorry if I can't remember what band it was.
Don't mention names. Don't mention names, especially if it's us.
It wasn't, but we only had one microphone, and I had to talk, and the person I was interviewing took the microphone off me, and moved away from me with it, and then I was just kind of like
chasing round.
Oh god, it was really awkward, but I think we had to redo the interview in the end because he ended up moving the microphone too far away from himself anyway. So I think that kind of saved me a little. Again, sorry whoever that was if you're watching this, but that was so awkward.
Do you know what? Poor mic etiquette and Mark, I know this will annoy the crap out of you as well. Poor mic etiquette, even on stage as a singer, does my head in. You know, when people like hold it like that, or it just, you know, or do and think, what are you doing? It's called a unidirectional mic for a reason, right? You can go and like, if you're not, it's just does my head in, right? So I get real snobbery about the mic placement and stuff. So, Mark, same question for you, mate. Best interview, or questions or person you've had on the show.
Well, that would give me a bit of time to think about it, and I think the one that comes to mind for me was the first one I did. My very first, the first show I presented, because back not long after you had been on the first series, because we had 2 other presenters, if you remember.
Yeah.
In the early days, and it was touch and go most weeks whether both could make it, and usually they did, or at least one of them did, and it was episode 7. Neither of them could make it.
Mate, that's burned into your mind, isn't it? Look, you were like, episode 7.
It really is. And the preparation I tried to do, and the standing in front of the mirror and seeing what you look like and all that, because I've never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
Set up RawSound. It was like, okay, I can do pretty much everything here. Maybe not brilliantly, but I can film, I can record, you know, I can even play.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about myself doing that in the beginning. It didn't even cross my mind. So when it come round, it was, I think we asked yourself and Mimi to come on, and I don't think either of you could make it.
I don't think we were free. Yeah. You don't want me presenting, mate. I talk too much.
You were both, well, we could have gone down a different path had you have said yes. You never know.
I know.
But it was such a small amount of time to get someone in, and it ended up me going, well, I'm just going to have to do it. Yeah. And I was scared. And that first interview, I remember, because we would put a random question into the interview, which was a bit corny in a way. And I made up this really corny, random question. They were a kind of 60s based band. And so it was a question about, I don't know, which lead guitarist would you have chose to be in your band, or something like that, you know, George Harrison or whatever. But it just sticks in my mind. Exactly that reason. I've never forgot it.
Mate, do you know what? I kind of, it's, you guys are synonymous with it now. Is that the right word? I think it is. That when you see RawSound, I see you guys there, you know, with the RawSound mic and the, you know, that there and stuff, and it's just it just works, man, and I love it for all that, you know. And that's, I'm kind of glad we didn't do it, and I'm kind of glad you did. Do you know? Does that make sense? Right? Because then, you know, if you came in and did it, you know, and you say, do more, you know me, I like to talk, mate, I can't shut up. And me, this is why I married Mimi, because she's quite shy, right? And she just tells me to shut up every now and then. But if you hadn't have done that, maybe you hadn't have gone on to do more presenting and stuff like that as well. So have you changed your style and how you interview? And Danielle, I'm coming to you with this question afterwards, so I think you think about it. So have you changed anything regarding your interview style or how you interact with bands from that episode 7?
I think if I look back, I probably have.
Yeah.
But consciously, I don't think I have. I try to just be natural.
Yeah.
I don't put that on at all. I just try and be as natural as possible. And so I don't think so, because I think, if I remember rightly, looking back, I was more relieved than anything.
Yeah. That you got through it.
To yourself. You know, and I was just relieved that it went well and it looked okay, and, you know, I didn't look a mess or whatever. Well, to me, I didn't. to others, I may have. But, you know, and I thought, well, is this the way forward? And fate kind of took it that way, because one of our presenters then sort of left.
Yeah.
And there was and it was like, you know, do we try and advertise for one, or shall I just step in? And I just stepped in. I enjoyed it, if I'm honest.
Mate, you're brilliant at it. Yeah, you're brilliant at it, honestly. I'm so glad you did that episode 7. So, Danielle, I'm going to come to you as well. Mark, have you got a light? Can you turn a light on your app? Because I can have you sitting in the dark if you want, mate. But
we're on the sunshine, but I'll sort that out.
There you go, mate. There you go. Don't worry. I can do a really nice edit where you go from dark to light. So yeah.
thinking that all the way through. How awful.
No, mate, don't worry about
Don't
it.
start again, do you?
No, God, no. This is what we want it like this as well, and I'll probably keep this in as well, mate. To be fair, because it's just how I roll. So Danielle, over to you. Has your interview style changed or developed, or have you done anything differently since the first kind of episode you did to kind of now, or have you just been brilliant all the way through?
No, I definitely. I mean, not interviewing, presenting was something I never really kind of wanted to do. I kind of got roped into it by this lot. So I was always quite shy, and I kind of thought, I don't think so. And then
Really?
I think as well because I obviously came into the show, I think series 3 it might have been, so it was already quite established with Mark had been presenting for a while, and I think I found it quite daunting to come in and then all of a sudden be next to the already presenter. And kind of thinking back to then, I think I was a lot more kind of robotic and more, I wasn't myself in front of the camera, and I kind of it kind of makes me cringe every time. So the first episode I actually presented on was it was like a special. It was the Novus's live gig we filmed. It was like the secret location at Mother's.
What a band, by the way, the Novus are. What a band.
Yeah.
Love them.
First one. I'd been with the crew a while taking photos, but that was the first one I presented on, and I had no idea what I was doing, and we had to do it in front of a crowd.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was good to be thrown in at the deep end, but it was also obviously horrifying. I stood there and watching it back, I shouted into the mic because we were in a crowd and there was music on. I didn't think the microphone, which was right in front of my mouth, would pick up what I was saying if I wasn't shouting. And if you watch it back, obviously we have the little Simon Townsend intro.
Yeah.
He says, you're watching RawSound TV, and then I come in like, hello, welcome to RawSound. And when I watched it back, me and James watched it back together, and it was just like, oh my God, why am I shouting?
Oh, bless you. Yeah, but the thing is, that's the thing you got to learn, isn't it, with everything?
Well, yeah, I think I got more kind of natural at it as time went along, but it definitely was a rocky few episodes.
Look, well, I saw that, and I wasn't sitting there thinking any of that, to be fair, because obviously I watched the show and stuff, and I was like, I wasn't thinking any of that. So, but I'm gonna watch it back now because that's gonna be. I want to watch that intro.
I remember Danielle just swimming, just really taking to it, and feeling really happy that whoever was standing next to me just was doing it. And I remember that gig, and it was my first time in front of an audience as well. So
I just remember these people all staring at me because we must have looked the part. You know what I mean? Stood there with our fancy little microphones, and I was just like, "Oh my God, there's people watching!" And but me and Mark always say we're the most critical watching ourselves, and we notice really silly little things that nobody else would notice. I mean, there's an interview. I make a really silly noise in it, on accident. I think I go whoop. And no one else noticed, and I'm like, why did I point that out? Because nobody would have known.
No, it is that, and it's a weird situation. It's like we see it when you'll know this, right? When you record something and that guitar part, and you listen to it back, and you think, oh, I've heard that. No one, you could point that out to 100 people and they'd never hear it, but you will always hear it. You will always see it. You will always go back and go, I wish I did that better. I wish I did that better. I kind of like that about the creative process, and that there's a timestamp with, say, video or music or whatever, that's what it was then, and you kind of got to you got to kind of lean into it a little bit to go, look, hey, 'tis what it is,
We always say we're raw sound, not polished sound TV.
But it is though. Yeah, I love the fact that how you guys kind of go about it as well, and it could be, because obviously the first time we were coming in, my dad obviously said to me, he goes, that RawSound want to do, have you guys play and do an interview and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, cool. And I was like, that's fine, watch for you. I thought, flipping out, this is quite good. And got in there and did it. And you guys don't give yourself enough credit, right? For how you run it, what you do. And if you're still being that critical as well, you're just going to keep kind of getting better and better in your own minds, because that's the way you improve, isn't it? That's the way anyone improves. So have you seen that, Mark, since kind of the start to now? Have you got more plans? Have you want to do bigger stuff, or is it you just want to keep doing what you're doing?
Got loads of plans, mate. Always have loads of stuff buzzing around my head.
You always have, yeah.
Yeah, really, and especially with the show. I mean, it's how the show come about. You know, it's just one of those plans and ideas, and it just grew. Yes, we've got plans. Yes, we'd love to make it bigger. We'd love to make it massive, mate. We'd love to make. The idea was to build a platform for Birmingham bands.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the studio. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with the crew. It was all about the bands. And so, which is why we possibly don't credit ourselves enough and try not to overdo the presenting side of things, because it's not about us. I know we're the face of it. I understand that. But ultimately, it's about the bands. And the idea at the very beginning is, if we can build a big enough platform for bands to show themselves off, job done.
Yeah, and you've done it, mate. You've done that, mate, and it's growing. So let's just keep doing it. That's the thing.
It was like one of the bands that come down. I can't remember which band it was now, but we briefly mentioned this the other day, where they said it's almost like a rite of passage to come on the show, and we were just like, our hearts melted, you know, because it's for someone to say that to us. I don't know. I can't put it into words. Really, it was beautiful,
mate.
to hear that.
Yeah.
What would, you know.
If you've got bands travelling from around the country as well to be on the show, I mean, look at it this way, and I think we do this in the creative industry a lot, right? You know, be whatever you are, a graphic designer, a presenter, a band, a musician, or whatever it may be, right? You're always comparing yourself to the next thing or the bigger thing, you know, because we do it as a band. You know, one of our things is, right, we want to play Glastonbury, we want to go on Jules Holland, we want to be on Soccer AM, and all these kind of things are. But then you forget, hang on, you've just sold out the last 10 shows in an hour and a half. Whereas when you first start as a band, the first thing you want to do, I don't know about you, Bob, is I just want to play guitar. That's where you start, right? And then you get to this stage where you sell out shows and people come and see you, and kind of it just keeps growing. So it must be the same for you guys. You're like, I want to do this, but you've got people coming from around the country. You've got a waiting list of people to be on the show. That's incredible. We never really stop, do we, to go, do you know what, we're doing all right here. It's just like, you know, it's like no one ever. Do you find you guys do that? Do you find yourself always kind of reaching for that next stage like most people?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we kind of, obviously things slow down because of coronavirus, but we started having a lot of opportunities coming to us, whether that be to do the show or things on the side. And you know, there has been a few times where we kind of all get a bit, you know, as you do, a bit demotivated, and we think, oh, you know, is this going anywhere? Are we doing okay? You know, is what we're doing all right? And thankfully, it's quite a big crew. There's always one crew member who will pipe up and be like, we're doing a great job, like, kind
amazing.
Of drag the rest of us like back up with them, which is really nice.
You need that. You definitely need that, and I find that. And it's the same with, you know, Luke's normally the cheerleader in our band, to be fair. He's the one who'll be like, come on, let's do this. We could do it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Come on, let's go. So do you all have kind of, let's talk about the crew and stuff like that. Right. So I'm going to I told you this was just going to be a random ramble from me. So who's the main joker in the crew? Come on, name names.
Oh, I'd say after the Santa stunt, it's got to be Lee.
I would concur, having been there. Yes, Mark, you
I'd agree there.
Yeah, same.
He's brought such a fun element.
We had no idea.
He's brought such a fun element to the studio. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Lee's been with me since the beginning in the way of he had the background role. Yeah, and since he's started coming down the studio, so at the very beginning, like I say, he was a lot of ideas. I used to bounce stuff off him, so he was always involved with that. But yeah, since he's been down the studio, he's brought a whole lot of fun to the studio.
Good. All right, that's the joker. Who's always late then?
Clint.
Was that? Yeah. So that was unanimous. That was like straight in. You were like always late, yeah. No matter what time you tell, yeah.
no matter what. It's good. He comes from work, I think. So
Okay.
it's like you know, it's not
Yeah,
like
he does travel. He does travel. That bloody Birmingham New Road. I think that's what he
Don't
always
give him
said.
excuses, guys. You know, right. So he's the late one. So who's Peter Perfect or Petulia Perfect? Who's like always there on time, always doing a good job? Who's that?
I'd say Andrea's the most organised.
Okay.
Yeah, probably,
She
yeah.
kind of helps us put together the order of the show, and she always kind of, if we stop and start chatting, she's like, "Come on, the next band's going to be here in a few minutes."
See, now I'd call that bossy, but you know that's cool. So
Without Andrea,
you wouldn't
struggle.
run.
We end up
I'm
there.
so scared to see Andrea again next time. She's going to absolutely ruin me, isn't she? We're going to be like that. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, she craps. She craps the whip.
All right then. So who is then? I would say the. Oh, who should we go for? What should we go for now? Who's the naughtiest?
Danielle.
Look at the shock on the face. Amazing. Amazing.
Hey, James.
James wasn't naughty when I was there last time. He was very well behaved.
Oh,
Yeah, James is quite well behaved.
Yeah, he was quite well behaved when I was there. He was doing
see
all
him
right.
as well, so I'm just, I'm biased.
Yeah, well, yeah. You're trying to get him in trouble. That's what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing! That's amazing. Well, I've got no more questions. I mean, I know. Well, actually, no. I've got one more question. Mark, you knew Luke first, didn't you? Out of our band, that was right, wasn't it? Yeah, because were you in a band with Luke? Were you in the Who
I
band?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
A bit
didn't know this.
embarrassing. But if you want to talk about it, we can do.
I want, mate. I want to talk about it. I want to go there. So I'll embarrass Luke. I won't embarrass you. Don't worry. But yeah, so Luke was the bass player, wasn't he? But didn't he have a 12-speaker cab or something?
He did. Yeah.
And you
He
had
had a monster. He really did.
And
It was such a great. The three of us as musicians, it was one of the best threesomes I've played in.
yeah.
And yeah, it was a long time ago now. But yeah, we tried to get as big a sound as possible. So yeah, Luke's bass setup was awesome.
Do you know what, that man? And I've said it on. There's so many interviews I've done, and everyone's been like, "Luke's incredible, isn't he?" And I'm like, it does my head in because he is incredible as a player and stuff like that, and he's so humble with it as well. And he is the funniest, and he's one everyone gravitates towards as well. But he's just dead chilled, isn't he, Mark? You know, when you're like with him and stuff, until you get a beer in him, and then he gets to be the naughtiest, the funniest, the latest. He becomes everybody in one.
Yeah. No, so I met him when he was quite young, and
Oh yeah,
massive respect for him coming along with older blokes and going, I want to play with you, and this is what I can play. But yourself, if you're going to try and emulate John Entwistle, you need to be able to play.
Yeah.
And our jaws dropped. I must be honest, when we first met him, I can't remember how old he was. He was young. And me and the guy who played the drums, literally when Luke had gone, we just couldn't get over it.
it's frightening.
Yeah.
I know. Do you know what, mate?
He's in the band.
I'm going to cut all of this out, and he's never going to sit down and joke. Yeah, and that's from a Villa fan,
Well,
Luke.
I shan't tell you the bad things.
Yeah, don't no, mate. I can't air them. To be fair, I know most of them, and Luke said to us, if there's ever, he said, if ever there is an expose on us, it will be Luke at the core of it. And he was like, I'm just telling you now, mate. I've got some dark stuff, and I was like, oh god.
There's always one.
Yeah, it's always the bass player as well. So is there anything you can tell us about RawSound you've got kind of coming up? Any plans, or is it all hush-hush? Please don't feel pressured to tell me, Is there anything you can reveal? Or
I wish we could reveal exciting things that are ahead of us, but unfortunately, due to the lockdown, and we've really not been able to plan anything. We'd reached a few points before the lockdown, so hopefully we can get back onto them.
Good.
And we may see things like the HMV shows, definitely more live shows. There was possibly some audience shows in the pipeline.
Amazing.
So I mean that's an exclusive.
Mate, I'm
So,
taking that. I am taking that. Trust me. Right, and
that's
I'm
something that
also.
we're working on. And we'd like
I'm just.
to do. It's taking the studio show in front of an audience. You know.
Oh mate, I just putting it out there. If you need a band, you know, to open up for someone, we're here. We're available. We're very reasonable on our rates, free. So you know. No, that's amazing. That would be wicked, mate.
What's the band called again?
I don't know. I can't remember the name. The lead singer's an idiot, though. To be fair, bass player's good though. But nah, that would be amazing. That would be cool to get that kind of vibe with an audience and stuff. And the next kind of step. So that'd be cool.
We want to get back in the studio and just get back onto it. And once we're running again, the ideas will come and you'll see things happening. Hopefully by the end of the year, if not next year.
Amazing. Cool. I've got no more questions, guys. You've been amazing. As you can see, guys, everything on the... So you've got the rawsound.tv for Facebook, the website. Mark, shout out the website for me off the top of my head.
The website is rawsoundtv.com.
Get on that, people. Get on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Like it. Watch the videos. You're going to find loads of new music. Everything you could probably wish for. It's so diverse. Mark, Danielle, thank you so much for joining me on Moving the Spotlight. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've not completely tested my interview and presenter skills, because they are severely lacking, because I literally just talk to you like my mates. But no, I will,
That's as good as anything.
Stay where you are, guys. I'm going to say goodbye to these people, and then I will, I'll have a chat to you guys as well. So that was the first episode of Season 2, Series 2 of Moving the Spotlight with Mark and Danielle from RawSound TV. Make sure you check out the channel, the YouTube, the Facebook, as we said. They're amazing people doing amazing work, and the team behind everything at RawSound are so nice. If you are a band, if you are anywhere in the country looking to get that experience and get a fantastic, high-quality interview, live performance, think Jules Holland, but just such a good environment, right? You know, check out RawSound TV. Go on and get on that waiting list. I cannot recommend it enough. So, guys, join us next time on the next episode of Moving the Spotlight. We'll be interviewing more people from behind the scenes in the music industry and whatever takes our fancy. So, yeah, see you soon. Cheers. Bye.